Hi, this is Carol, and this is our week 2 initial post on digital natives. After reading Mark Prensky's article, I would definitely say that I think that there are digital natives. I've lived in a house of digital natives for about 23 years. Both of my daughters grew up since 1990, and I watched them immerse themselves in all things digital from the time they were young, from video games to telephones to just social media and all of the things that are surrounding that. So I definitely think that they had that immersion that he talked about. No matter how much we limited what they did, it was all around them. I also think that even though I haven't done any of my own research on neuroplasticity and malleability of the brain, it seems that there's a lot of talk about that in the media, ways to make an older brain more I guess, elastic, or I guess bringing parts alive again that maybe have gone stagnant through brain games and different things, and also the validity of music and language education in the schools to awaken those parts of the brain that are good. Maybe that are not awakened in other ways. And so I think that does have validity. And so I would probably think that he's on to something there. I also think that Prensky is in the business of selling educational digital games. And so he has some skin in the game there. I don't think that it has to be an either or thing. I think that students who are digital learners or native digital natives can still learn in the same ways that they learned before. I've seen both of my daughters do it. Yes, they maybe respond to digital learning because it is more interesting and it speaks to them more, but they still can learn in other ways. So anyway, where do I fit into this? I am a digital immigrant. I actually learned technology just as Prensky said that we have to learn new skills by immersing ourselves in them. And I was someone who started using a computer in the 80s and had to learn how to use that giant box that sat on my desk. And I used it several hours every day, 5 days a week for years on end. And so I became aware that this was something that I needed to learn more about. And so I actually took some courses, nothing college level or anything like that. I mean, I did take a couple of Word courses at a local college, but workshop kind of things to help me to think like a computer a little bit more, and to make me more computer literate. Because of that, I also advocated for computer literacy in our schools because it occurred to me, just as the presenter said in Do Digital Natives Exist, that our kids were learning how to navigate through computers, but they weren't necessarily understanding how they worked or the capabilities of computers. And I think it's that fluency that some of the digital natives don't have. I liked his example of learning a language like English, for instance. Though we learn to speak English, it's through education that we learn the syntax of English, how to read it, how to write it. And I think that also in education, we need to educate people in, the digital natives in all the capabilities of computers, what they can do to enhance education and how they can really support education. So the concepts need to be there, but the bells and whistles are the things that need to just enhance what's being learned. So I also would say that who should design online courses, and I think that at some point it will all be digital natives who are designing courses. But for right now, I would say that I think that those of us who are digital immigrants are probably better equipped to design courses because we have a foot in both camps. We understand our learners who are going to be digital immigrants or those who are technologically challenged. And hopefully we also understand maybe that generation that are digital natives. We understand the need for the bells and whistles to engage learners and also to, enhance the learning experience, to say, gosh, you could make this presentation that's two-dimensional, but why not make it a Prezi? Why not make it something that's three-dimensional, more interesting and more eye-catching to the one who's watching the presentation. So I think from that standpoint, I think that we actually, those of us who are digital immigrants, would probably do as well or better than someone who's a digital native. I also think that in a face-to-face class, we can no longer ignore that there needs to be technology in the classroom. I mean, years ago, they required that teachers take a technology in the classroom course as part of a core curriculum for teachers, so to speak. But that's gone way beyond that. That was strictly learning how to use PowerPoint and Excel. Now we really need to know how to incorporate some of those web 2.0 tools that we're working on this week to engage learners in web-based learning. And I think that that just has a place in all of education now, even in digital games, as Prensky was pointing out. But I think that when we cloud the issue with bells and whistles and get away from content, we serve to maybe frustrate a learner, and we make the focus the technology and not the content. So I think that those of us who are digital immigrants are less likely to do that, that we're more likely to stay on focus with content and less likely to focus on the technology that's involved. So that's my post. I'll be anxious to see what you see, particularly some of you who probably have a different perspective than I do.